Welcome to the Two Big Ds podcast. It's your new friends,
Dan Cash
and Danny Kosh. But we are not the big Ds you're here for. This episode is crammed with so much tea. We've got D,
dating
versus D,
dad life.
relationship highs and lows of the week,
We've got your big Ds,
decisions,
where you've written to us for our help in making some big life decisions. And let's not forget
the Two Big Ds, discussions,
where we delve into two hot topics or news features from the week. And at the end of the episode, we'll decide who gave the best D. But really, we're here to entertain, make you laugh, make each other laugh, and just generally
stab
a little bit more D into your week. Stab.
It's Halloween. So what's new with you?
What's new with me? I was on a podcast this week, a different podcast.
Okay, I can accept that you cheated on me with another podcast because of whose podcast today?
Just so excited. I was on Luke Danes' podcast, Scott Patterson, who is the actor that plays Luke Danes in Gilmore Girls.
Oh my God.
It was so much
Oh
fun.
my God. Did he shout at you and tell you to stop using your cell phone in the cafe?
No, he didn't. I was allowed to use my cell phone and I could drink all the coffee I wanted. It was so much fun. He was just asking me about my thoughts and opinions on Gilmore Girls and the characters. Yeah, it was great. It was fun. You can listen to it if you want.
I would like to.
It's called the I'm All In podcast with Scott Patterson. I'm all in.
Oh, okay. It just reminded me of that revelation in Britney Spears' new book.
Oh, well, what one?
But have you not heard this?
But there are so many revelations that have come from this
Well,
book.
I'm all in.
Right.
So there's a passage from that book where she basically said that she said to Justin Timberlake, let me know when you're going to enter. And he said, I already have.
Oh, no, I did see that.
Yeah.
A little micro. I'm not going to say it.
And to think we used to call him Trouser Snake, and we should have called him Trouser Worm?
He's a little D.
I can't stand that man. I'm so glad he's getting what's his now.
Yeah, 100%.
The whole time, like forever, I've been like, what a dick.
For me, it was the Janet Jackson
Oh, I know.
situation.
And he got no heat from that.
He let her take all of it. No.
And she didn't realise.
So today, the day that this is airing, is Halloween.
Yes.
So we're a little bit ahead of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to dive straight into dad life, I think, from this.
Fabulous.
So Halloween as a parent is very different because it involves a lot less alcohol.
Okay. I don't need Halloween to get drunk.
I know, but Halloween is like one of the best nights out when you're young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like you just dress up and you don't care and everyone's out to have a crazy time. The drinks are green and the music's spooky.
I don't really remember that part of Halloween too much. Like, I was more of like a bin bag around the shoulders kind of girl, you know?
Oh, I see.
Like, I just wanted the free candy and then to get into the cold.
I feel that now.
I didn't grow up in Siberia or anything. I grew up in South Wales. But yeah, I guess it must be a lot more. Yeah, just a totally different ballgame when you've got kids.
Yeah, and like, the thing is with trick-or-treating, I remember when being a kid, we'd just knock on anyone's door and hopefully they had sweets. But now there's like, you can only knock on the doors of people that have Halloween paraphernalia out.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, so like
God.
you walk the streets and you're like, if they haven't got like a pumpkin in the window or if they haven't got a skeleton in their porch, you're like, we won't knock on their door.
I am so glad that you child havers have got that message, because like the amount of times when I'm just like, right, shut the window, shut the curtains, lock the door. Like, I don't want like youths knocking on my door asking for candy bars when I just don't have them.
I do feel like it's a shared millennial experience of growing up, running out of sweets because it was less accessible. Like you didn't have Tesco aisles full of these big bumper bags of sweets, and running out and just turning the lights off.
Yeah.
And then someone knocks on the door on the off chance, and everyone be quiet, turn the telly off. We're not in.
Yeah.
Whereas now you just have identifiers to be like, are you a Halloweener or are you a?
You said Wiener. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I remember once when I was like 15, like, I don't know why we did this, but like, we were probably a bit old to be trick-or-treating as well. But like, we knocked on this house and nobody answered. And we just kept fucking knocking. We just went for it. And like, tell you what, we got rewarded. The sexiest gentleman in a towel answered the door. He was furious because we got him out of the shower, but I was 15, so it was like Christmas and Halloween. He was hot and sexy, but he answered the door. He didn't have any candy though.
You had your treat.
I did have my treat. Persistence pays off.
There we go. You heard it here first. But I love Halloween with kids because you get to watch all the films. Like, they're a little bit too young for Hocus Pocus, which is a shame. I don't want to give them trauma.
I watched that the other day.
Yeah, but I remember watching Hocus Pocus when I was too young to watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh, they didn't care about traumatizing us in the 90s and 80s.
It's like when you first watched the Michael Jackson music video for Thriller and you were a kid, and it literally, I was like, this is...
Did you have the VHS?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had. It was like a real long movie about like dressing him up as like a wolf and stuff. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched it I watched probably about 30 seconds and was like, nope.
Yeah, it was quite terrifying, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then you get to dress up. I had an interesting thing. This will be something that like interests you.
Okay.
So I was looking at Halloween costumes, and obviously I've got 2 girls. So the baby's in a pumpkin outfit, quite easy.
Adorable.
The 5-year-old, all the costumes are like dresses. So it's all quite like, even though it's Halloween and spooky, loads of the costumes are still like pretty dresses with a little bit of like, the lacy black sleeves to be like, it's spidery or whatever it's meant to be.
Okay.
The boys' costumes are just gory. So you have like...
Are we still doing this?
Yeah.
We're still doing this?
Yeah. And I was like, this is weird. So I looked it up and I actually found a thing that said 46% of boys' costumes come with a mask.
Right.
Guess what percentage of girls' costumes come with a mask?
25.
4%.
Fuck off.
So it's just fascinating because it is still, even though they're children, there's an element to fancy dress at Halloween where girls have to be, pretty girls who are wearing nice dresses and a little bit of face paint or lipstick. And boys can just wear a big old mask, loads of fake blood, like gloves with skeleton hands. Do you know what I mean? That's how it's marketed to each of the genders.
Yeah. I hate that because but it's also like, I mean, I might be reading too much into this, but it's also kind of saying that like, you have to be exposed as a girl. Like you can't hide your face. Like you've got to be visible, judgeable, because like, it's just interesting the fact that we are still very much in this place where you just have to wear less if you're a woman. Yeah. Like it's just socially accepted that you are just going to wear less and expose more. And like the fact that that's starting with Halloween costumes with children is just fucking bullshit. Really.
Gross. It's gross. But I know something I noticed, looked it up, and I was like, yep, I was right. The world is still horrible. I'm
dressing my dog up for Halloween.
Oh, what's she gonna wear?
She's not allowed to wear a mask. She's got to have her tits out. She does have 10 boobies, my dog.
10 boobies.
Call her Patsy 10 Tits because she's got 10 of them.
And anyway. This is Patsy after Patsy from Ab Fab, right?
Yeah, Patsy. Well, I called her Patsy because I wanted to get another dog and call that one Eddie, but Patsy hates all other dogs, so now I've just got Patsy.
Just give her a bottle of champagne. Bottle of Bolly,
darling. No, so she's going to go as a pumpkin this year. Last year,
same as my baby.
Same as your baby. And last year she was a witch. And if the pumpkin pictures turn out okay, I'll put them on our Instagram.
Yes, do that.
Yeah.
Got to see that.
Yeah.
That was basically it. I just wanted, for Dad Life this week, I wanted to talk about Halloween trick-or-treating.
I love that. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. I do love it.
Yeah, you can have a good time.
Yeah, it's nice when it doesn't rain. Because kids in costumes that are just soaking wet is like...
Yeah.
But free sweets. Because I get to eat most of the sweets. Because like people give out hard-boiled lollipops. And I just see choking hazard. And I'm like, you're not having that. So I end up with most of the sweets, which is an extra bonus.
Now we get to the bottom of it. This is why you care. Because of the sweets. That was your dad life.
That was my dad life.
My dating life. I mean, I feel like I've experienced a little bit of growth this week.
Oh, sounds promiscuous.
I feel like no.
Not that kind of growth.
No, sadly not. But like men.
Yeah.
Why so bad at asking questions? Like, just men. Why so bad at asking questions? Is it like a genuine lack of interest? Or is there something else happening? Like, were you just not socialized to care about other people, especially women, and what's going on with them? And the reason I open with this is because I have been chatting to a gentleman, or I had been chatting to a gentleman, and Dan Cash, Daniel Elizabeth Cash. This man was so beautiful, like 6'4", dark hair, a mustache, but like not like a I twirl the ends up and have a microbrew kind of mustache, like as in a strong Travis Kelce kind of mustache.
Like a porn stash.
If you will. And he was very, very beautiful. And we were like, yeah, we matched and we were chatting away. But like, I made it so hard to talk to him. Like, he was like, oh yeah, I think that communication is really important. Like, it's something I prioritize in relationships. Could have fooled me. Because literally, at one point, so I'd be like, hey, what's going on with, like, you know, trying to learn about her. And he'd be like, oh yes, this is all about me.
Oh,
and then nothing. And I'd be like, well, I got some stuff going on. Like, ask me about my stuff. And in the end, I had to actually ask him and say, please, could you ask some questions about me to get to know me a little? Honestly. And so, and bless him, he kind of did. And then I was like, but he kept on in that vein. I was like, this guy was literally telling me how important communication was, and he just doesn't seem to care about it. So I left it a little bit, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not doing it. Like, he might be beautiful. Like me, like 10 years ago, I would have been all in, like, yeah, let's like pry this out of him. But I was like, screw it. He might be pretty, but I need someone who I can talk to, who actually wants to get to know me.
You can't rely on pretty.
Well, maybe you can't.
You bitch.
No, but yeah. So I messaged him. Like, I left it a little while because I was like, what am I going to do? Like, he's so pretty, and seemed interested. But I was like, I just couldn't deal with like the poor communication. So I got back to him and I said, I'm really sorry. Like, you're very attractive, but it's really difficult to talk to you. And I want to speak to somebody who actually wants to get to know me. And you've made this really hard work. And he came back and he was like, I'm so sorry about that. Like, I didn't know that was the case. And I was like, wow, this is like so promising. And he was like, I'll look back through the messages and I'll see where I went wrong. And I was like, well, that's really nice. And maybe this is what happens when I stand up for myself and what I want. Came back an hour later. Yep, no, disagree. I was like, I literally had to ask you to ask me questions about myself. But he just disagreed. So I left it. And I was like, do you know what? You might be pretty, but you just haven't got what I'm looking for.
Now, when you can have a better conversation with your dog,
honestly,
probably a sign that you should halt interaction.
And I say, I'm going to caveat my moment of growth with a moment of
flaccidity.
Why not? I got binned off myself. I got unmatched from somebody who was quite attractive, but I made a joke pretty early on that I probably shouldn't have.
Oh God, we've got to hear this joke.
So one of my pictures of me on my dating profile is me playing guitar, and he said, "Oh, are you left-handed?" And then I replied and said, "No, I just play guitar like that, so it feels like someone else is doing it."
Still on your hand.
Ew! Why is that so much worse when you spell it out? But he came back and said, a masturbation joke? Really?
Prude.
And then he just deleted me.
Prude.
I know.
Prude.
So, I mean, other observations from this week, I guess. Face tattoos. A lot of those going around too.
Yeah, face tattoos. I feel like I still don't see a lot of those, but I suppose I'm not looking at literally the pool of men.
Yeah, a cesspool of men. Nose piercings as well. A lot of that going around.
I'll say I want one of them.
Okay.
I don't think I can because I've got quite a wonky face because I broke my nose when I was drunk once. And if I got a nose piercing, I feel like it would accentuate the wonk. So I don't think I'd ever get one, but I do quite like a nose piercing on a guy.
Okay, well, that's good to know about you.
I think I'm alone here.
Did you just say that because of the t-shirt I'm wearing?
Yeah, Danielle's wearing a Tiffany t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm determined to get a joke in about it.
That's nice.
I did it.
You did it. Yeah, I don't know where this t-shirt came from. I have no idea. It just has Tiffany on it.
Was it in the loft of the house that you now live in?
I don't know where I got it from. I honestly couldn't tell you. I've had it for probably like 10, 15 years. Tiffany just came into my life. Tiffany! Just came into my life. And one man, his bio, and I can't decide whether this is adorable, vulnerable, or straight up psychotic. His simple pleasures, there he listed on his profile: traveling, houseplants, sit-down showers.
What?
Wait for it. Sleeping with the curtains open.
What? Yeah, no.
It gets progressively worse. Because I was like, sit-down showers. Look, we've all been hungover in the shower and we've sat down and let the water wash away our
Have
sins.
we? Have we all done that? I don't feel like I've ever done that.
Theoretically, people have done that. I've done that.
Okay.
What, you've never been so hungover that you can't stand up in the shower?
If I'm not hungover, this body doesn't get washed.
Well, there we go. At least I'm clean and disorientated. Kind of my brand. So I think you probably won.
Sit down shower.
And sleeping with the curtains open.
That's so specific. I feel like if he was like, oh, I sleep with the window open, I get that. A bit of fresh air, you hear the birds in the morning. Maybe he means like, because they have those alarm clocks, don't they, that simulate the sun rising. So maybe he just means that I like to get up with the sunrise, so I leave my curtains open. Well, as the sun rises, it wakes me up naturally. But if you mean that, you have to really specifically say that, because otherwise you sound like you should be in a horror film.
Yeah, you won this week.
I'll take it. Well, I might win. I haven't done the trick-or-treating yet. We'll see how it goes.
That's true. I might go and have a sit-down shower.
Don't. So now we've got your big Ds, where you've asked for our help making decisions on stuff. Thank you so much for sending them in, first of all.
We really appreciate it.
If you would like to get our advice on solving a dilemma that you have, you can find us on Instagram and message us, which is 2bigdspod, 2 spout TWO, or you can email us at 2bigdspod, again, the 2 is TWO, at gmail.com. And yeah, we've enjoyed sifting through them.
We have. If you would like yours read out as well, and you'd like our take on it for some reason, send them in.
Send them in. So I've got one here that you haven't read.
Okay.
So, hi Dan and Danny. You've been named.
Good start.
I have a dilemma. I've recently gone for 2 jobs and got both. However, one pays way more than the other one. The only problem is, the one that pays more, I'm less passionate about. Do I choose the job that has more money or that I'm more passionate about? Do I be realistic or jump in the deep end?
Right. The thing is, take all of this advice with a big pinch of salt, because I don't know how old this person is, where they are in their career, what their financial situation looks like, and what their prospects are and intentions. No, just the first things. But in this economy, get the cash.
Get the cash.
Get that damn cash. Like, damn cash, get that damn cash.
It's a cosy libs.
I mean, yeah, it's really sad. I mean, look, if you're set up, if you're good, you got your house, you know, your outgoings aren't that crazy, like, definitely go for the thing that you're more passionate about. But the thing is, if you got that job, you can get it again. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you go and do the thing that gives you some cash and gives you, you know, a healthy income, then you can just build that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at some point in your career, if you want to go back to do something that you're more passionate about, you know you're qualified for it and you know you can get it.
This thing, because I think, so my opinion is that if you're the thing you're passionate about can turn into something bigger. So for example, if the job was like a runner on a TV or film set, you get paid absolutely nothing. But if you are passionate about working in film and TV, that's where you have to kind of start.
Yeah.
So if in 5 years' time, you could potentially have a career in film and TV that started with this job, then go for it. Again, like, depending on your situation. However, if it's something you're passionate about, that, you know, what are you more passionate about? Are you more passionate about working somewhere and being fulfilled by whatever it is, or enjoying whatever you're working with? Or are you more passionate about seeing the world and traveling and eating nice food? Do you know what I mean? So work isn't your whole life. So for me, that's what would juggle it. Whether it's you do something now for the passion, but the prospects are really good, or you take the money, you have the money to then do more things that you're passionate about in your free time.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really, that's it, isn't it? Because we're especially in a cost of living crisis, when the job market's so competitive, you're kind of, you're automatically going to think, you can hyper focus on the career aspect of things.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, you can be ambitious for things which aren't career. You can be ambitious for travel, for, time with your family, friends. Like it's, yeah, I think that's really nice.
But also just take the money.
Take the fucking money. By the way, we've listened back to our last episode and realised how much we swear.
We do.
We swear way more than I thought we swore.
Yeah, I didn't realise it would be such a sweary podcast.
I know. So if you would like us to swear less,
fuck off.
Get fucked. No. If you would like us to swear less, please do tell us, because some people don't like to hear swearing. But
or maybe listen to something else.
Or if you want to hear us swear more,
then
happy to oblige.
So you have a big D for me, right?
I do have a big D for you. This is quite salacious.
Ooh.
Our listeners really run the gamut, don't they? By the way, thank you very much for listening so far.
Yes, we appreciate it so much. We really
appreciate it, and the feedback has been just so lovely. So thank you, everybody. Okay, big D for you.
Yes, please.
I slept with my best friend's boyfriend.
Oh my God.
I liked him before they got together, which she knew, but she got with him anyway and waited a whole month before telling me. I feel so guilty about sleeping with him, and I feel like I need to be the one to tell her, but how?
Wait a month.
Oh.
Karma is my boyfriend.
Oh, Patty Miss Betty.
That is quite the thing, isn't it? I mean, if you want to get in there first, if your concern is that the boyfriend is gonna, be the first one to tell your friend,
yeah,
I feel like you need to just rip the Band-Aid off for the American listeners, and just say it as it is. I mean, there's only one way you can say it, isn't there? Yeah,
I mean, so I think in this specific scenario, I think all's fair in love and war. Like, there's wrongs on both sides of this, there's rights on both sides of this. Like, what I would say is always, always, always prioritize the friendship.
100%.
If it's worth it. Because we've all cut some nonsense out of our lives, some people who aren't enriching our experience on this planet.
You slimline your friendship groups, yeah.
Precisely. So if this is one of those friendships that you can do without her, and do the guy. However,
do the guy.
However, if she means something to you, if she actually means something to you, tell her. Because the thing is, she knew you liked him, and she got with him anyway. So you've both kind of, messed up a little bit here. So just meet in that and just try and do it with as much care and love as you can. But I mean, the guy doesn't really matter in this.
No, I think that, obviously the person that's done the cheating is in the wrong, but he's done the cheating because he's in a relationship. So really, you've both done wrong. He has done worse.
And also, you're only a month in.
We don't know that.
Okay. I read the question wrong then.
No, she just said that they waited a month before staying.
Oh, I got you.
So we don't know how long they've been together.
Okay.
It might be a month. If it's a month, then...
Give a shit.
There it is. There's the real D.
Please write in your questions so I can ridicule you on our podcast.
I love this bit of the podcast. So thank you again for sending them in. Again, we're on Instagram, 2BigDsPod, TWO Big Ds Pod, or email us, TWO2BigDsPod@gmail.com, and we will help ruin your life.
Dan, what am I holding in my hands here?
A shocked hot with a ghost on it. Is it a ghost or a dog?
It's a ghost.
Okay.
It's a little ghost pot.
Looks a little bit like a dog.
So I've made this little game. This is a Halloween edition of musical word association.
I love it.
Okay, so we're going to pull one of these cards out with a word on it.
Yeah.
And then we're both going to sing a few, but I apologize for our singing.
I don't.
Well, I do. I've heard you sing. And we'll sing the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
Right. Do you want to choose first?
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared because it's my brain switched
They're all
on.
Halloween-themed words.
Halloween-themed word. Yes. The song doesn't have to be a Halloween-themed song.
No, it just has to have the word in it.
We'd run out of songs. The first word is moon.
Moon river wider than a mile.
I was going, Canyon Moon, which is Harry Styles.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know that. Okay. Monster.
I'm friends with the monster who's under my bed.
We did the monster mash.
We did the mash. Oh, this is fun.
Right?
Right. My word, night.
I've
got one.
Okay, you go.
Even when the night changes. One Direction.
Night. Oh no, I can't think of anything. Night.
The expression on your face right now.
I'm really using all my brain cells right now. She is like a cat in the night, and then she is the darkness.
What's that?
Rhiannon.
Who's that?
The Stevie Nicks song.
I think the singer was Rhiannon.
No,
and I was like,
it's my mate Rhiannon.
Rhiannon.
Oh, Rhiannon, tell us what about
she's got a cracking lot of tunes.
Yeah. This one says candy.
I want candy.
Mother, that was mine. So sour candy.
You did it.
I did it.
Hey. Right. Another one. It's magic.
And
it's called black magic.
I was going to do that one.
Yeah.
You smile sort of thing. Hear violins. It's magic. It's a Doris Day song. That's all I could think of. Okay. Just took two by accident. Okay. The word is treat.
Baby, we can find a... Oh, this is long. It's basically treat people with kindness. Harry Styles again. I know one artist.
And if you treat me right, I'm going to stay right by you. And if you don't, I know what time it is. You know what time it is. If you hang with me. It's a Robin song. Promise.
Banger. Right, my turn, is it?
Mm-hmm.
This is fun. Trick.
Magic me once. Don't do it twice.
Trick. I can't think of a song with trick in it. Trick. I might have to concede this.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Does that count?
Is that trippy?
Tricky. Tricky, not trick.
I think that counts.
That
you
counts.
didn't.
Well, you get two.
No,
I'm sour.
Clown. The word is clown.
I'll be your clown.
What was that?
Emily Sandy.
Oh.
Behind the glass.
Oh my God. And when I'm scared, you're a clown, and if I get scared, you're always around. What's that song?
I don't know.
I got you, babe. And if I get... Yeah, anyway. We don't need to hear that again. It's your...
Is it my go? How many more of these are left? Scream.
If you want to go faster, scream. If you want to... Hello.
There's a... why am I so bad at this all of a sudden? Scream. Baby, I'm a nightmare dressed as a day scream. Can I make them up?
Half a point.
I can make
Half a
them
point.
up.
The word is party.
So I put my hands up, playing that song, butterflies fly away. Not in my head like, yeah. Party in the USA.
Amazing. I never kissed a bear, I never did a dip, but I can have dinner and a chicken to the room. Let's have a party. Woo! Let's have a party.
Oh,
Wanda Jackson.
There's glitter on the floor after the party. New Year's Day by Taylor Swift.
Oh my God. This is not going to become a Taylor
Swift. Is this the last one?
This is the last one. Make it a good one.
Meet me at midnight. I had to.
Midnight. We both did Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift owns the word midnight.
Honestly.
That was fun.
Right?
I enjoyed that.
Oh, wait, who won? The listener. The listener won.
I think the listeners will agree they did not win listening to that.
Look, the second their ears stopped bleeding.
They've all switched off.
And called the police. So now we're on to the two big Ds.
Two big Ds.
Do you want to show your D first?
Ew. So my D is a new Netflix documentary called The Devil on Trial.
What? Okay.
Have you seen the Conjuring movies?
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of them. I think there's like 3, isn't there?
There's 3 main ones, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen 2.
Oh, right. Well, this is the 3rd one.
Okay.
So you're shit out of luck. So this documentary is based on the same story, true story, that The Conjuring 3 is based on.
Okay.
So obviously it's Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are paranormal investigators.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Right. So they're the 2 people that go and investigate.
Real people.
Yeah, they're real.
Yeah.
So basically in 1980, the Warrens went to a place in Connecticut to investigate the demonic possession of David Glatzel, who was the youngest of several siblings. So his family believed that he was being possessed by the devil.
Right.
So they called in the Warrens. So the first thing they did, as you would, is you go into the Catholic Church for a little touch of exorcism.
Touch of something.
And when the devil was eventually exorcised from David, it apparently shot straight into somebody else who was in the room at the time of the exorcism, the boyfriend of David's sister.
Right.
So he allegedly, while the exorcism was happening, that's a really hard word for me to say, exorcism, he allegedly challenged the devil to take him instead of David. So he was like, come at me, bro.
Okay.
And the devil went inside him instead. And then several months later, the following year, he stabbed and killed his landlord during a party.
Wow.
And claimed that it was through the demonic possession that he committed the crime.
Right.
So he was put on trial, and his defense team tried to claim that the devil had possessed him to make him commit the murder, but the judge didn't quite buy it, so sentenced him to 10 to 20 years in prison. He only served 5.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And then because of all of this, and because they used the demonic possession in a trial in a court of law, it became very, very famous. So the Warrens, like one of their most famous cases was this event. So great for them, because they want the business. We don't know if demonic possession is real. Do you believe in things like demonic possession?
I don't think I do, just because I don't believe in religion.
Yeah, this is my thing.
So, like, the idea of a devil, that's just kind of, in my logic, that's just like made up to keep people in check.
There's only one devil. She wears Prada.
Nice.
Nice.
Why is nobody ready?
I knew you were going to do that.
I don't know. But look, this is the thing. I may know most of the things in this universe.
Yeah, obviously.
But we don't know everything. And, there's that whole thing of like energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transferred. So like, who knows? I'm not going to, poo-poo this subject entirely because, there's like psychics, there's like witches, there's pagans, there's all kinds of people who, we may not have a scientific explanation for the power that these people pertain to access and whatever, but it doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean they're not actually doing something. It just means that we, with our tiny little human brains, can't perceive it yet. So do I think that you can be possessed by a religious, like, character such as the devil? No, absolutely not. However, is there something energetic going on that we don't know? Something, like malignant, I guess. Who knows? Who's to say? There
are a few factors at play that come out in this documentary. This is the spoilery bit.
Okay.
If you're planning to watch the documentary.
Okay.
Because this stuff isn't necessarily in the film. The film paints the Warrens as being like these heroes that went and saved the day.
I know that towards the end of like the Warrens' arc of their career, there was a lot of like they would doing lots of like publicity and
Yeah.
writing about, and I think it's become more about the arc of fame.
This is the thing. So it's quite, and obviously the way they achieved their fame, if it was not real, is very exploitative, especially of children.
Yeah.
So the documentary is devoted to interviews with people that believe all this happened, and they all give their own accounts of this possession. However, towards the end of the documentary, the mic falls to David's older brother, Carl, who has his own version of events. So things, I'm not going to go into all of it, but things that he mentions include a secret love triangle involving the sister and the man who committed the murder. Okay. So he was very possessive,
right,
to start with, and also apparently she was having an affair. She was having it off with someone else.
Right.
So there's potential there that he was jealous and in a jealous fit committed some kind of crime, potentially against someone that he might have suspected, to be the person she's having an affair with, maybe. And then in kind of a more shocking twist at the end of the documentary, Carl says that he thinks the possession could have been caused by their mother, Judy, who he claims was drugging the family with an over-the-counter sleeping pill called Sominex, and sneaking into the food at dinner time, which can cause all sorts of side effects, which may explain the possession of David, and therefore the demon wouldn't have gone into his body to possess him and cause him to commit murder because there was no demon.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he uses as evidence is like their dad, who wasn't involved in a lot of this, apparently slapped his son, David, around the face during one of his possessed times, and he snapped out of it.
Oh,
and obviously,
yay, David.
So it's like, well, why would the devil listen to Daddy and no one else?
Yeah.
Unless the devil had daddy issues, obviously. But yeah, so that's kind of it. But I find it fascinating, not the devil part, because I watch horror films a lot, and I am turned off with a lot of the ones that are about demonic possession.
Okay.
So I love the Conjuring movies, especially the first two. But as soon as like the devil comes out, I'm a little bit like, ugh. Because I like...
Really? Why?
Yeah, well, because the whole ghosty thing, when it's unexplained. So like Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah.
And like the first one especially. I love that kind of film because it feels so realistic. And because like, I don't feel like it's too far-fetched to believe that ghosts, spirits, phantoms might exist in some form. Because like you say, the energy is transferred.
Yeah.
So where do we go?
Disembodied energetic forces.
Yeah, and there's a lot of... I've encountered some spooky stuff as well.
Have you?
Yes. Some really weird shit.
Okay, tell me.
So one of the things I've experienced is... so my mum's house is kind of spooky, but I've never felt threatened by what I've like witnessed. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So one time I was in the house on my own, and my little sisters had walkie-talkies in their bedroom.
Okay. Well, can I just say, whenever there's toys involved, it just gets so much creepier. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about my sex life.
Depends what kind of toys.
No, but like, when there's like a toy that starts moving by itself.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I get it. So they basically, voices started coming out of these walkie-talkies.
Oh, fuck off.
So I went into the room thinking, well, they can just connect to a neighbour. Do you know what I mean? It's all the same wavelength, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were off. And then I phoned my sister to be like, Jess, I'm really scared. I am in the house on my own, in Mum's house, which we are both a little bit like, ooh. And the walkie-talkies started going. And I was in the bathroom. I left the bathroom. And then I left the bathroom, there was a beat. And then I had something fall onto the floor. And my toothbrush had fallen out of a pot, and it was on the floor. And I was like, how did it get out of the pot? And like, it could have been me brushing against it and everything.
Or it could have been a demon telling you your oral hygiene sucked.
Do you know? Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it is. The demon dentist.
But they saying, brush your teeth.
Floss, damn.
Brush your fucking teeth down. Here's the toothbrush.
Floss your teeth.
Just spit and rinse down.
And then that night, I was laying in bed and I felt the bed dip. And like, it felt like somebody was getting into the bed. You know that feeling when like the whole bed dips and creaks a little bit? And I literally put the duvet over my head and was like, I'm just going to stay here until I sleep or get murdered by a spirit.
I would die. I would die. Like I would actually die. Like, I think it's one of my biggest fears that like something supernatural in that vein would happen to me. Like, and I don't know why. I don't know. Like, you know, I remember watching the Blair Witch Project when I was younger, but I was such a spooky kid that I was like, I mean, I just like, hey BW, what's up? Like, do you know what I mean?
You'd be like Brenda in Scary Movie. You know,
yeah, exactly. I was like, Calista Flockhart looking bitch.
She's
like,
leaking on your floor.
Cindy, the TV is leaking.
That's it.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd ever recover. Like, I've like witchy stuff, but I'm cool with that. Like, I'll join the coven. It's fine. UFOs, great. I had a good time on the earth. Beam me up. This is a shit show now. But like ghosts, mm-mm. Well done. I enjoyed that D. It terrified the pants off me, but
some Ds you just don't understand fully.
Some Ds can be intimidating. Do you want to hear about mine?
I do.
Okay, so my D this week, I'm very excited for this, is Drusilla Returns. Okay. Do you know who that is?
I don't know who Drusilla is.
So Drusilla was one of the big bads in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. So you don't know much about Buffy, right?
So, you and your little influencer era, I started watching Buffy.
Did you?
The other day. Because I sat down. Yeah, I did.
What season did you start with?
1.
Okay.
Because I've seen the odd episode.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I've seen, or I know some big spoilers because I've seen.
Oh, there will be spoilers ahead for all of this, just to let you know.
Yeah. Thanks for the warning. Yeah. But I'd never seen it from start to finish. So I sat down the other night with my wife and I was like, Buffy's on Disney Plus. And she was like, oh, I love Buffy. And I was like, we should watch it. And she spent the whole first episode being like, when does Spike come into it? Because I love Spike. Where's Spike? I was like, okay.
Season 2.
Yeah. Season 2. So she's excited to see Spike.
Spike and Drusilla are the pairing. They were the big bads in season 2. So
I didn't know Spike was bad. So,
yeah, started out that way. And had a few anyway. So each season of Buffy has what's called a big bad.
Okay.
So it's the thing that they spend the whole season or possibly multiple seasons building up to fighting.
Okay.
So Buffy, firstly, I'm very proud of you for watching Buffy.
I'm excited.
That makes me really happy. So over the course of Buffy's 7-year run, around 7 seasons from 1996 to 2003, it cultivated a very loyal and passionate fandom. Because it featured a strong, complex female lead when that kind of character was really quite rare. And Sarah Michelle Gellar just portrayed that character with I know you're in season 1, so it's all like leopard print and funny puns, but there are points in that season in that show where her performances are just like earth-shatteringly fantastic.
I feel like, so I've watched 2 or 3 episodes, and already the sense you get of the character of Buffy is so strong. And I was like, yes, she is. I got it straight away. I was like,
this is one. Yeah, I
was like, this is why Sarah Michelle Gellar got such a huge fan base on the show, because from immediately you're like, I know you. Exactly
that. And that only intensifies as you go through. So the cultural significance of that show is pretty, undisputed even today. Even though Buffy contributed to important conversations about gender, sexuality, feminism, it wasn't without its problems. And basically men, both on screen and off, would kind of taint the show's reputation a little bit as a feminist masterpiece. So it was basically a strong female character, but on a male creator's terms.
Yeah, that was the 90s in a nutshell.
Exactly, which I think is really irresponsible, to be honest, because you create something like this, it's bigger than one man, it's bigger than one person, it's hundreds, thousands of people involved, in watching the show, loving the show, making the show, writing the show. And for one man to not realize that it's bigger than his ego is not surprising, but it is disappointing. And Buffy did continue after its end in comic book form, but it's effectively that's viewed, it was Buffy season 8 in comic book form, but that's effectively our Sex and the City second movie. Right, we're just collectively pretending it wasn't canon, it didn't happen, it was nonsense, basically. So now there's a new show in the Buffyverse called Slayers.
Slay.
exactly, which features original cast members and original characters from the TV show.
Exciting.
So they're reunited for a whole new adventure where basically a decade has passed since the final battle in Buffy. And basically all of these characters, all of these actors, it's effectively assumed that they were all kind of mistreated the first time around, whether the actor or the character or both.
Right.
But they kind of got a rough deal the first time. And now they've come to basically have their time. And Cordelia, who is one of the central characters in this new series, she went into the Buffy spin-off Angel, and they basically put her into a coma and let her die unceremoniously. And she came out a few years ago, post Me Too, to effectively say that she felt she was bullied and written off the show and punished because she got pregnant.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, so basically this show, which features Drusilla as well, who is, like, spoilers ahead, but Drusilla of Spike and Drusilla fame, she is the big bad in this new series, in this Audible series. And even Giles comes back to it, which is Buffy's watcher. So it features Amber Benson, Juliet Landau, Anthony Head, Emma Caulfield Ford, Danny Strong, Charisma Carpenter, like all of these names who were, you know, huge parts of the initial show.
The foundations.
Precisely. And they've all come back. But oddly enough, the main central characters in Buffy, so Buffy, Willow, and Xander, who aren't in this, you don't feel that they're missing. You don't feel the lack of them, because the story is kind of so full and so rich. I've only listened to like 4 episodes of it, but so far, like, it is a Buffy fan's like dream. It's so enjoyable to listen to. And like a lot of these characters, like I said, were killed, but you know, it's Buffyverse. They lived on a hellmouth. Like, there are ways around and loopholes, and you know, and
that's the best thing about science fiction stuff, isn't it? Like,
exactly. And
bend the rules.
Bend the rules, but it all kind of makes sense. It doesn't ever seem too tenuous. It's a very like rich story, and to basically hear these characters come alive again, it's such a treat so far. And Drusilla makes a perfect big bad, especially because she's teamed with quite an unlikely partner in crime. I won't spoil that. And so Charisma Carpenter comes back to this, and she is the Vampire Slayer. She's Cordy the Vampire Slayer.
Fun. Which
seems so right and so correct. And like, Charisma Carpenter is so commanding and powerful, and she's done such a good job of stepping back into her character, that if her character was in an alternate universe in which she'd been the one and only Slayer, and then it's like 10 years after the show end, she's road weary, whip smart, and you feel just totally engaged and like safe in her portrayal of that character. But already, I mean, I think there are a few characters that I would like to see returning in the new series that I've decided that they're going to have. I'd love to see Elijah Dushku come back, who played Faith, the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
And I'd love to see Christine Sutherland, who played Buffy's mum. Oh, and shout out to Layla Delion Hayes, who plays a new Slayer in this. And she basically embodies the most perfect, like, newbie Slayer energy imaginable. And she's like, in the show, she's basically a super fangirl of Buffy and that whole world that came before her. And she just portrays that in such an enjoyable way. She's a wonderful addition to that cast, definitely. But are there any characters or any shows that you feel maybe the characters met an unjust end that you would like to see have like a second stab at coming back and doing it right?
I think the only things I can think of really is Stranger Things.
Okay.
And Bob.
Bob.
No, Bob.
Bob.
But Bob. Whatever.
Justice for Bob.
No, whatever. I'm like, Bob was necessary because it sets the tone for the show. Like, anyone can die, anyone can disappear. I quite like it. It made a real viral moment, didn't it? Like, Justice for Bob. But that made the show partly what it is.
No, I get that.
I was going to say Bob.
Bob. That was really
didn't need to die.
Yeah, but then Hopper and Joyce wouldn't have.
Yeah, but he didn't need to die for that to happen. And the other one is Eddie. I don't believe that Eddie needed to die.
I don't believe that Eddie is dead.
Ooh. I'm probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they got to bring him back.
It's hard to know because when a show gets as big as Stranger Things, so Eddie died and everyone was like, oh, he's not really dead. But then it's like, do the writers go, let's double bluff?
Yeah.
Because nowadays, like, this is what Buffy never had, and the shows back in the day, they kind of had to go off, they got audience feedback or whatever, but it wasn't so instant and it wasn't so much.
But also, there was room for showrunners to kind of run amok without the audience, because basically people watching Buffy, they didn't want Joyce to die.
No.
They didn't want a lot of the stuff that he wrote for Sarah Michelle Gellar in season 6 and season 7 to happen. There are some moments in those seasons that they shouldn't have happened, basically. Yeah. And they weren't responsible. So yeah, I think it's good that you have like audience reactions now to kind of keep egos in check and being like, well, actually, this isn't about me. Like, I'm doing this for an audience,
Because one show I think gets it right is Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
So when characters leave Grey's Anatomy,
I've never
big
seen
characters, you've never seen it?
No.
I only watched it.
Sorry.
I started watching it last year.
Tell me though.
But when the big characters leave, they do it. They
really?
Do it. Like, do you mind spoilers?
No, spoilers.
Spoilers again. So George O'Malley is a character who was very much beloved, especially when it aired. And he was called 007 because basically somebody like licensed to kill. So when like a surgical intern messes up and like is the cause of someone's death, they would call them 007, licensed to kill.
Okay.
And
savage.
He had this nickname, but only really early on he had this nickname. And then it kind of went. And he dies in like season 4. And there's a patient in the bed. No one knows who it is. Bearing in mind, he works at this hospital, so everyone knows who George O'Malley is. No one knows who this patient is. They're trying to work out who it is. He's been hit by a bus. He's in a really bad way, unrecognizable. And towards the end of the episode, at the like crescendo, he gets Meredith Grey's hand, the main character's hand, who was his friend. They'd had a little fraternizing as well. He gets her hand, and on her hand, he draws 007. And it's like such a powerful moment because it's like she realizes it's George. And it's such a great exit for such a big character because it's an unforgettable moment.
Yeah.
And other characters that were loved so much, Lexi and Mark, they were written out on a plane crash. So a plane crashes, and that's how they have this big moment of like, but it's a bit ridiculous sometimes because so much happens in this one hospital that's like, come on now.
Yeah.
But their heroes get heroes exits most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think I love that. And like you say, it's kind of the opposite. But...
Yeah, I mean, I think with Buffy, like, you could, just looking back, you can tell that those characters, especially the female characters, were subject to the whims of a showrunner.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Buffy's death at season 5, I love Buffy, can't get enough, love this new season. They probably should have ended it there because it was so powerful. Like, I cannot watch that. So I was rewatching Buffy and I got to a few episodes before that and I just can't go any further. It's too much. Like, it's such brilliant TV. Yeah. And there's like about 3 episodes that lead up to that. And so by the time you get there, it's just so heightened and the writing is beautiful. Like, there's some really beautiful quotes that like lots of people have tattooed on them from that episode. And yeah, it's she got her hero's death, definitely, but thankfully the characters that weren't awarded that have now come back and are living again through Slayer's A Buffyverse Story, which you can listen to on Audible.
I love that. And also I think if you have listeners, if you have characters that you think met an untimely demise or like was rubbish and you want justice for certain fictional characters,
Bob,
please let us know. Again, on Instagram, 2bigdspod, on all social media actually.
Yeah.
Or you can email us 2bigdspod@gmail.com, and the 2 is always written as TWO.
Exactly.
But yeah, let us know because I love stuff like that.
And let us know what you think of Slayers as well. Let us know your Buffy opinions.
Yeah.
I could have been talking for years about Buffy, so I hope I've covered that in enough detail to satisfy people. But people who love Buffy, we love Buffy.
We could do a whole bonus episode on Buffy.
If you want to hear 2 big Bs, just let us know. And I'll talk about Buffy.
Two big bitches.
Daisy.
So I think that's it. We've given you all the D we've got for this week. I hope it was juicy. Ooh.
Wow. Wow.
Who had the best D? Who gave the best D? I feel like you had a very...
I feel like my D could have been much longer. Like, I feel like I tried to keep my D short and compact, but I wanted to have a much longer D to give you. But I mean, I really enjoyed your D, even though it scared me. Like, and to hear your stories of your own supernatural, I swear to God, Dan, if you've brought something into this house and tonight I'm like getting toys, like getting played with, then I will thank you.
We don't want to know what you do in your spare time.
Yeah, you do. No, and I really enjoyed that. I would love to say that I'm going to watch that documentary on Netflix, but I think it would scare the bejesus out of me.
But I am going to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm going to watch so much Buffy.
I love that for you. Like, well, look, you heard it here first. If there's like a whole Buffy offshoot now, it started here.
Buffy definitely started with you. My cousin, I've got a cousin actually who has always been a huge Buffy fan.
Yeah.
So I know two Buffy fans. My cousin is in super fans.
Yeah.
You and my cousin. So
see, the thing is though, if you start watching Buffy, you're going to realize that 90% of the things I say to you probably come from that show.
That's like when my wife was on maternity leave and watched all of Friends, and she was like, "So you've basically modelled yourself off Chandler." I was like,
"Be any more pregnant?"
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be there when the laughter stops.
I basically modelled myself after Faye.
I thought you were going to say Giles then.
No, after Faith. When you get to it in season 3, you're going to see,
Because you got to have faith. And you're dating stories, as always.
Yeah.
As always.
I'm glad you're enjoying
And
them.
you bought the Halloween song game.
I mean...
There you go.
I think I did give the best D this week.
I think you did.
Rate it. Rate my D.
Rate your D. I'm going to give it a solid 9.
Oh, you tease. I think we're going to get a little 0.5
Oh, it's too early we're only on episode 3. We can't do 10s yet.
Look, yours was fantastic, fabulous and wonderful, but it did scare me quite a lot. So I'm going to give you an 8.
I'll take the 8.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with an 8.
Nice story though. Well told. Well done.
Thanks.
Well done, darling.
Thanks so much for joining us on this special spooky edition of the podcast.
Yeah. Join us next week where we
wiggle
2 more big Ds out for your enjoyment. In the meantime, come say hi and rate our Ds on social media at 2BigDsPod. But thank you all for listening.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Much. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Please. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Wiggle.
Well, what else was I going to say?